My dad died when I was 14, freshman year of high school. They pulled me off our basketball team bus and told me the news. I grew up in a tiny town in North Dakota. Woke was what you did at 5 a.m. to start the day. A place where neighbors rally around you. My mom was our rock, our hero. I started a shoe shine business, worked at the grain elevator, and as a chimney sweep. Paid my way through college, then earned an MBA from Stanford. I ignored those who said North Dakota was too small, too cold, and too remote to build a world-class software company. So I literally bet the farm to help build a tiny startup into a billion-dollar company with customers in 132 countries. A kid from small-town North Dakota. That's America. Today, America's facing new challenges, and how we respond will define our future. We need new leadership for our changing economy, innovation over regulation. Instead of shutting down American oil and gas, we should unleash energy production and start selling energy to our allies instead of buying it from our enemies. High taxes, red tape, and inflation are choking every American. As governor, we cut red tape and took North Dakota from billions in the hole to a surplus. We balanced the budget every year, and we did it all while passing the largest tax cuts in North Dakota history. States created the federal government, not the other way around. Let's shrink the federal government and return power to the states. Anger, yelling, infighting, that's not going to cut it anymore. Let's get things done. In North Dakota, we listened with respect and we talked things out. That's how we can get America back on track. It'll work. And in that tiny town where I grew up, you didn't promise things you couldn't deliver.
Doug Burgum, small town boy, turned self-made, world-class business leader. Extraordinarily successful governor. A listener and a doer. A smart guy who's achieved a lot. Doug Burgum for president. A new leader for a changing economy.
I'm Doug Burgum. I approve this message.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jenny Olson.
Here in small town USA.
Good morning! It is my distinct honor to welcome you all here today. Yes. So, take a deep breath. Look around. Soak it all in. And remember this moment, historic moment. Because by choosing to be here today, you have chosen to be a part of making history. And that is exactly what we are going to do today. Make history! 25 years ago, I was a college intern. Today, I'm one of the many business professionals running around this country that was given an opportunity to learn and grow at Great Plains Software, the very start of Doug's legacy of leadership. I distinctly remember hearing his first big keynote address in front of hundreds of partners and customers and team members. I immediately after raced back to my dorm room. I grabbed the phone receiver off the wall, still attached by a cord, punched in the numbers, and called home to my mom and dad. I proceeded to gush and bubble over with enthusiasm, telling them all about how I had just seen the most amazing leader. He was brilliant and articulate and innovative and inspiring. As a 20-year-old preoccupied college kid, inspired in a way that I had never been. And that was just the beginning of the ride. Doug was just getting started. Fast forward, when Doug was elected governor, I and many others followed him to work alongside he and Catherine in state government. And it was there, working on because that's what influential and inspiring leaders do. They inspire us to come together, to follow, to get on board, to be a part of something greater. And in there, working on the Recovery Reinvented addiction platform with Catherine, that is where I got to see firsthand Catherine's humility, courage, and depth of caring that not only changes lives, but is saving lives. I believe much of what I just shared is why this room is packed with people. Wow! People with similar stories that reflect that incredible impact and the power of Doug and Catherine's leadership. We, collectively, we have witnessed, we have felt, we have experienced the power and that force for good that is their values-driven leadership. And in this moment today, I believe we have a huge opportunity to move forward. I had the privilege, working side by side with them the last few years, to not only see the very public, the big, bold leadership moves, but just as importantly, the small, the everyday, the behind-the-scenes, quiet commitment to serve, to relentlessly tackle hard problems, and always start from a place of gratitude. So, in a couple of minutes, you will get to hear from just a couple of speakers that will tell you more about the amazing leader that Doug is. Bo Bateman, a decades-long friend of Doug, will let us in on a very other side of Doug. Jeff Young, an incredible businessman in his own right, will share how and why, tell us about how Doug is so successful in business. And, of course, the most amazing First Lady in the country, Catherine Burgum. So, here's what we're gonna do. Doug and Catherine are backstage. In just a moment, I want you to help me. Let them hear, let them feel how proud we are of them, how much we care, that we are absolutely, positively in this with them, and so incredibly thrilled to be here together today, sharing in this most incredible moment, making history! That's right, that is right. We are gonna keep this energy rolling this morning. So, how about it? Let's get this party started! Thank you!
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lieutenant Governor Tammy Miller.
Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to be with you on this historic day. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pam Modrick.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bo Bateman.
Here in small town USA. Give me a second.
There you go. So I'm the guy who's supposed to guide you through finding out who this Doug Burgum really is, right? We grew up 56 miles apart. Both of us went to high schools in towns of less than 400 people, and we've been friends for over 40 years. When young Doug Burgum found out he was going to be the quarterback for the football team, he's well-researched, always has been, so he started looking up camps he could attend, and he could find only one in the area, and that happened to be the Benny Friedman School of Quarterbacks, which he attended, captured the handle, came back to the small town, and now a rural legend is made, and that's where Benny comes from. You know, there's a lot of cross-training in a small town, right? The firemen are doing something else, they're volunteer. The EMTs are volunteers, they're doing something else. The football team, they know they got to go paint posters in the cafeteria if they want the homecoming game to come out bright and shiny. The high school band sounds different depending on which sport is being played. When the boys basketball team is playing, well, there's a lot of musicians that are on the courts dribbling, so you got a lot of females in the band playing that national anthem. You flip it, when the gals are playing basketball now, it's most of the guys up in the band, and the national anthem carries kind of a trombone-y sound to it, but you're stepping in doing different things, right, for each other. And when you get out of line in a small town, your neighbors don't call your parents. They call you, and they tell you the expectation they have for you. And you spend the rest of your life trying to achieve and earn the expectation and admiration of your hometown. In those kind of hometown situations, you strike up a lot of deep relationships, and Benny's always valued relationships. And when he got out into the big world of business, he was constantly bringing these business moguls out to North Dakota to show them the Badlands, to show them cattle ranching. And when you get them out there in that area with a lot of sky above them, you can establish an easier conversation and a deeper friendship. And that's kind of the way he works. He brings people together through conversation and trust. In fact, when he sold his company to Microsoft and they arrived with a cavalry of lawyers, he put them all on horseback, and they drove cattle across North Dakota before they sat down for the negotiation. Nice. Right? That's how you find common ground. Sometimes when rural fellows are sorting each other out, they play Can You Top This? And Benny and I went through that when we were just getting to know each other, and I thought I had him. I said, "Hey, Benny, you ever have a rodent crawl up your leg while you're shoveling out a grain bin?" And he's like, "Yeah, I have." I thought I had him, you know. I said, well, how'd that work out for you? He said, really, it was not too bad. I had these awesome bell-bottom pants that were really tight to the kneecap. And so, kind of opened at the bottom, so, all that mayhem stopped at the sock level. Well, that's an example of Benny's positivity. He has not had an experience that he didn't have a positive takeaway from it, no matter how chaotic it was. The guy is always positive. It's remarkable. In his worldly adventures, 132 different countries and all the cultures, the different continents, he maintains the common touch and the authenticity of a small-town America, and yet he still scales really well. Long before Benny was governor, he and I were playing on a basketball team together, and we were in the North Dakota tournament in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and we're playing for a semifinal game. We're up by 11, it's the fourth quarter. Benny takes himself out for a rest, and he sits down next to me and he says, hey, Bo, you still got those soybeans to sell? I'm like, yeah. He goes, okay, that's great, because in my travels, I got this guy who's really good on Brazilian, South American currency, and he's started to read in that maybe the real is staged for a comeback, and it's going to create a better marketing opportunity for you, and you'll be able to empty those bins, and cover a little more than you thought you would at the end of the season. I'm like, cool. But while he's saying that, I see that our lead has come down from 11 to 5, and now there's only 2 minutes left in the game, and he hops up and he slaps me on the knee and he says, well, great conversation, Bo. We're going to need a timeout. And everybody comes over and he sits them down and he says, here's the deal, guys. We got 4 more possessions in this game tops. We're going to start shooting from the left side of the perimeter here, and we're going to shut down their best three-point hitter who's been killing us from the baseline. We do those 3 things, we walk out here with the victory. Are we all good in that? 1, 2, 3, go, go. And they did it. 4 possessions and he wins the game, and I'm just laughing because this guy's, the mental gymnasticity in this guy's brain to go from, South American commerce to coaching us through a basketball game is just nuts. And this guy, he's deeply informed, and he's strongly competitive. He maintains this constant situational awareness, and he is nearly unencumbered by sleep. It's been an honor to be here today on this most important day and to share just a small glimpse of where this guy comes from and what's inside this most remarkable, approachable, and gracious leader. And he is an absolute treasure of a friend. And now, welcome please, Jeff Young.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. What an unbelievable atmosphere here for this very, very important day. It is my pleasure, it is our pleasure as friends of Doug to be here to give him our full support as longtime friends, as colleagues, as mentors, and as a legendary business leader, a visionary business leader. And we're here today to get Doug ready for his next big adventure. Congratulations, Governor Burgum. When I first met Doug, he was in the midst of that famous story at the beginning, selling the farm, mortgaging the farm to invest in technology. And when we look at it now, you build some software, do some great service, win a bunch of national awards, have a successful run on the NASDAQ IPO, sell to Microsoft for $1 billion. No-brainer, Doug. What was so hard about that? That was easy. But it was anything but easy. At the time, it was hard. Nobody's giving money to people in North Dakota to build software companies. Banks don't know what software is. And so it was incredibly hard. And it not only was hard to get funding, but it was hard to do the work. Could you get the team? Could you do the work? Lots of business, lots of competitors. And so huge risk. Doug took that risk, never looked back, and he was there every step of the way. He never asked anybody to do anything he wouldn't do, worked incredibly hard. He would spend the day working as a CEO, make a couple sales calls after work, and then show up to pack boxes and ship them out. And so just legendary what he did. He got after it. And not only was he incredibly successful, but incredibly humble. It was fun to watch all the way along. Doug saying thank you. This is a guy who's incredibly successful running the shop, but he's the first one there in the morning, the last one at night to say thank you. The other thing I recognized about Doug early on, at that point, about 130 people on the team, but an incredibly talented team. Early on, he understood that you needed great people across your organization, you needed great leaders, you needed great technologists, and he had created that at that time. Later on, you know, a couple thousand people on some unbelievable buildings here on campus, but he got that from right away. If you think about Doug after the story at Great Plains, it gets even better. You know, he goes and you know, runs a great Microsoft division for six years. He launches a venture capital company to be local and do the things that he wishes he could have done when he was starting Great Plains. Renovates a bunch of downtown areas, super successful on a number of boards, and it led them to very successful exits. And the other thing, which I can't not talk about because it's probably the thing that makes him the happiest, he still serves on the board of Arthur Companies. 100+ years in business, and he's still on that board along with all the other boards that he's on. In addition to that, he's still got his ranch out west, and he will be the first one to tell you that he's not afraid of any job on the ranch, and he ropes a little bit. And so, you know, has been incredibly successful after Great Plains and Microsoft. And then at that point, Doug didn't really need another job, but he volunteered to be governor. A whole bunch of people told him, we have a bunch of politicians who can be governor. You don't need to be governor. And I think, you know, he was down, you know, he had about a 50-point deficit when he started to run for governor. By the end, he won by over 20 points. And so for all those people who didn't think we needed another governor, we are thrilled that Doug is serving us as governor here in North Dakota. And that brings us to today. You know, why is here Doug today? He doesn't need another job, but he sees an opportunity to serve. Doug has always wanted to lead. He enjoyed leading, but he also serves. He enjoys serving the state of North Dakota, but he thinks he can serve more, and he can. You know, we're in a time of a lot of uncertainty. You know, the economy is not great. Inflation has been terrible for a number of years. It's down a little bit, but it's still a problem. The interest rate shock that is at our system right now, we're just beginning to see how hard that is going to be. The energy thing we have right now, what energy thing? We had great energy. We need great energy again. Doug is an energy expert. And then on top of that, the technology challenges. China and Russia are coming after cyber attacks. AI has got unbelievable opportunities, but also unbelievable challenges. We need a technology person to lead in those situations. So we're going to have a great country, but we need great leadership. And when you think about what's out there, we need somebody who can run a business environment, check. We need somebody who knows and can lead on energy and is an energy expert, check. We need somebody who can run technology and, more importantly, lead great technology teams. Check. We've got unbelievable opportunities in front of us, but we've got some hard work to do. We really do. And we need somebody who's not afraid of hard work and is a great leader. We need the right leader. And at this time, that right leader is uniquely qualified. Doug Burgum is uniquely qualified to head on all those things, and that is his next great adventure. Now it is my pleasure to bring to the stage one of the top members of Team Burgum, the First Lady, Catherine Burgum. She has done some amazing work representing the state of North Dakota, done some amazing work in the Recovery Reinvented, literally touched thousands of people, and it is my pleasure to bring today Catherine Burgum, First Lady. Thanks.
Thank you, Jeff, for that heartfelt introduction. And thank you all for being here for this exciting and historic day. It is such an honor to serve as the First Lady of North Dakota. It's also an honor to stand before you today to introduce my husband, our governor, Doug Burgum. Doug is a man of integrity, compassion, and courage, who cares deeply about the future of our country.
His family is deeply rooted in North Dakota. He comes from the hardy stock of pioneers. His life has been directly influenced by a long lineage of strong, powerful, and intelligent women. His great-grandmother, Linda Slaughter, was one of the state's earliest pioneers. She arrived to North Dakota by steamboat, coming up the Missouri River after the Civil War. She was an author and a correspondent who fought for women's right to vote. Linda was the first woman in Dakota Territory to hold an elected office as superintendent of Burley County Schools. She beat out several male candidates at a time when she could not even vote for herself. In 1892, she earned the distinction of becoming the first female in the country to vote for a presidential candidate at a national convention. Her daughter, Doug's grandmother, Jessamine Slaughter, was the only female in the first ever class of students at North Dakota State University back in 1890, a year after North Dakota became a state. Doug's amazing mom, Catherine, was a widowed mother of 3 when she re-entered the workforce as the dean of the College of Home Economics at NDSU after Doug's father died. Of the 2,000 Great Plains team members, 51% were female, which was unheard of in the software industry when they merged with Microsoft in 2001. And many of them became senior-level executives at Microsoft. It's clear that Doug has been influenced and surrounded by strong women his entire life. Which brings me to my next topic, me. After becoming First Lady, I made the decision to go public about my battle with the disease of addiction. Today, I stand before you as a person celebrating over 21 years in long-term recovery. I chose to stop living with the shame and stigma of the disease of addiction, which had affected my life since high school. I made a choice to become a face and voice of recovery. Doug has been a magnificent supporter and partner on this journey. I'm grateful that our work together on Recovery Reinvented has touched many lives in every community in our state and around the world. But there is still so much work to do. Over 30 million families in our country experience the disease of addiction, and many know the tragedy and heartbreak of the incomprehensible 110,000 U.S. overdose deaths in 2022. And fentanyl is still pouring into our country through our open southern border. The sense of community and optimism in many of our towns and main streets in North Dakota is so different than other places in our country right now. Like many of you, I can't remember a period in my lifetime when our country has been more divided. Today, I offer you a message of hope, that there is a better way. Doug cares deeply. He's a values and mission-driven guy, and it shows in everything he does. And now, his mission is to bring out the best of America. And to improve every American life. From the boy who lost his father at a young age to the executive who would bring thousands of jobs to North Dakota, Doug has always shown perseverance and resilience. He is North Dakota's biggest champion. He has never given up on our state or the people that matter most to him. And now, his goal is to improve opportunities for every American. And that's really what Doug's campaign is going to be all about, improving lives and bringing out the best of America. We need to focus desperately on that as a country to stop the division and the fighting. Doug will get it done. Doug has truly carried on the North Dakota pioneer spirit of his family into the 21st century through new ideas and innovation. He is a visionary leader who has dedicated his life to serving the people of North Dakota as an entrepreneur and a governor. He has a proven track record of creating jobs, growing businesses, and transforming government. He has championed bold initiatives of diversify the economy, improve behavioral health care access, and enhance environmental stewardship. He is a partner with the tribal nations with which we share borders in North Dakota, especially in the areas of education, behavioral health care services, and law enforcement. And Doug is a strong champion for the new presidential library in the North Dakota Badlands to honor Theodore Roosevelt. He's been recognized nationally for his innovative and collaborative approach to governing, which has earned him bipartisan support and respect. Doug is not a politician. He's a problem solver who listens to all perspectives and finds common ground. He is a leader who inspires others to dream big and act boldly. He is a patriot who loves this country and wants everyone to make it better for all of us. That's why I'm proud to stand by his side as he runs for President of the United States. I know he has the vision, the experience, and the heart to lead our nation forward. Please join me in welcoming my husband and our governor, the next President of the United States, Doug Burgum.
Wow, feels like ESPN Game Day in here. What do you think about that, huh? Well, thank you. Our hearts are full of gratitude for everyone who's made this moment possible, including all those that have gone before us. And all of you that are joining us here today, thank you. Catherine, I'm so grateful for you. Grateful to be on this journey with you. I've witnessed firsthand how your brave and powerful decision to share your personal story of recovery has touched countless lives. And through your groundbreaking work on Recovery Reinvented, you have literally saved lives. Catherine, I love you. Our state loves you. And I know America is going to love North Dakota's amazing First Lady. Together, Catherine and I have so much gratitude for all the Burgum and Helga's family members, We got our siblings, our cousins, second cousins, third cousins, nieces, nephews, even Aunt Joan Tuma is here all the way from California, so we know we're going to get one vote in California. But all those close friends, all of you that are here today, looking back in the risers, and I think that 1/3 of my Arthur class of 16 is standing back there, high school. So thank you, Gwen, Dave, Kevin, everybody that's back there. But thanks to all of you that have encouraged us, you've supported us, and you've believed in us throughout our lives. This is definitely a family decision, and we're grateful. Today, we've got a whole boatload of elected officials here, fellow statewide, state legislators, mayors, tribal chairs, and tribal leaders from our 5 sovereign nations with whom we share geography. All of you that are elected today, you're in the arena, and we're grateful for each of you for your service. Thank you. But especially we want to thank today the people of North Dakota, who we are so honored to serve. You took a chance on us in 2016, and that was another race where everybody said we're starting out as a long shot and a dark horse, so we think it's a good place to be. But I want to thank you all, because re-electing us in that landslide in 2020, our 40-plus point victory margin was the largest in the country of any of the 11 governor races that year. You were the ones that all made that happen. Thank you. Thank you so much. And again, thank you all for being here today that are watching here in the room and those in the overflow areas, but I want to thank you for being here. There's so many, we know, friends around the country that are watching online. Today is just the start of showing how much we can achieve when we all work together. I grew up in Arthur, a tiny town of 300 people. Yeah! Part of the other 300 people that did grow up there too. But our parents were a gift. They taught us not just by their words, but by their actions. Dad, World War II Navy veteran, taught us the importance of service to country and to community. Mom, she taught us the importance of caring deeply, listening thoughtfully, respecting everyone. And from the earliest days, Dad and Mom, not sure why, but they supported my entrepreneurship, my risk-taking, whether it was crazy ideas like launching a newspaper when I was 8 years old in elementary school, or wilderness canoe trips or hitchhiking to Alaska as a teenager. But it was a cold Saturday night in January, and we were ready to head out to play neighboring town Kindred when they pulled me off the bus to tell me that our dad was dying. I was a freshman in high school. That was tough. But North Dakota was the kind of place where your neighbors rally around you. It was also, interestingly, the birthplace of the Good Samaritan Society of America. At that time, we like to kind of brag that Arthur had a population of 400, not 300. We got to that big number because we proudly counted the over 100 residents in the Good Samaritan home. Good Sam in those days, they took everyone in, regardless of age or abilities. And so in a way, our whole town was about taking care of each other, about helping those in need, about neighbor helping neighbor. Every small town in America is like that, but Arthur especially. If somebody was in need, a neighbor was always there to help out. We see that across the entire state of North Dakota today. If a farmer has a serious health issue, all the neighbors rally to get the crops planted or harvested. And every spring in North Dakota, like this spring in ranch country, neighbors help neighbors with spring roundups and brandings. I'll never forget the way our town lifted up our family and supported us all when Mom had to go back to work after Dad died. Other dads like Joe Peltier and my Uncle Al Burgum, Lester Zimmerman, all made sure I was doing okay. Mom was driving to and from Fargo for work, and every night after basketball or football practice, when Mom was still working late in Fargo, I'd go to Helen Williams' house for a fabulous dinner, homemade rolls, and a wonderful chocolate milkshake. I'll always remember her generosity and kindness. And her daughter, Julie Barner, is here today. Julie, right over here. It shouldn't be a surprise that small town values have guided me my entire life. Small town values are at the core of America. And frankly, big cities could use more ideas and more values from small towns right now. Along with cousins and friends, I worked every summer at our family's grain elevator, including some jobs like shoveling out rotten grain out of the pit. Those jobs should be featured on Discovery Channel's Dirty Jobs, actually. One time we were all so dirty and we smelled so bad from that rotten grain, we went across the main street to go to the Arthur Cafe, and Walt and Ann came out and said, no, we'll serve you out here on the curb. You guys can't come in. I worked on the farm for Jack Hoig, swathing grain every harvest, all through high school and all through college. And to help pay for college, I even worked as a chimney sweep. The minimum wage in North Dakota was $2.30, and I figured out that I could earn $40 an hour sweeping a chimney. I loved working outside, I loved climbing, and I got to wear a top hat and tails when it was 20 below. And of course, this is a time when there was an energy crisis going on. OPEC had quadrupled oil prices, and a lot of people were burning wood in their homes, so the threat of chimney fires is real. A clean chimney prevents those fires, so it was a chance to help people. And for me, the career had a real appeal, because when you're a chimney sweep, you have an opportunity to move up fast and always stay in the black. Thanks for laughing, not groaning, because for my kids, I had to have at least one dad joke in this presentation. But I believed then, and I still believe now, and I believe it deeply, that unlimited opportunity exists everywhere in America. I literally bet the farm to help turn a small startup into a billion-dollar company in North Dakota. People thought I was crazy. A software company in North Dakota? Well, we ignored those who said North Dakota was too small, too cold, and too distant to build a world-class software company. We did it anyway. We built Great Plains Software into a company that served 140,000 businesses in 132 countries. And we did it with team members from more than 220 small towns across North Dakota. At the time we went public, we were one of the top 5 most successful NASDAQ IPOs ever, only in America. 4.5 years later, by the time we joined forces with Microsoft, we had just over 2,000 team members, 1,200 of them based right here in Fargo, 400 team members across the rest of North America, and 400 Great Plains team members based around the globe. It's a tribute to the commitment of our partners and our team members and our investment, and their absolute courage to take a stand against the conventional wisdom that said it just couldn't be done. Some people called us an amazing overnight success story. The truth is, we were an overnight success story 18 years in the making. When you start a software company here, you need to be willing to go against the grain and reimagine what's possible. And that's exactly what we did when we ran for governor in 2016. We shook things up a bit. We cut $1.7 billion in spending our first year in office. We cut red tape and streamlined services. Working with other statewide electeds and the legislature, we balanced the budget every year. We bolstered cybersecurity. We brought life back to our main streets. We made record investments in education, strengthened tribal relations, built infrastructure, unleashed energy production, and diversified the economy. North Dakota is both growing and getting younger, one of the only states that's doing that. And we have the 3rd lowest unemployment in the country and the highest workforce participation in the nation. And again, working with the legislature this past year, we achieved historic pension reform, helped pass term limits, and enacted the biggest tax cut in state history. We know we can do the same for America. Right now, the world, our economy, are both changing rapidly, and how we respond will define our future. Technology is changing every job, every company, and every industry, and this change will become more rapid than ever before. We need new leadership for the changing economy. We need a leader who understands the real work that Americans do every day. Someone who's worked alongside our farmers, our ranchers, and our small business owners. Someone who's held jobs where you shower at the end of the day, not at the beginning. Someone who's got decades of success selling our technology overseas and knows the threats and the risks to our future from foreign state-sponsored competitors stealing and pirating our intellectual property. We need a leader who's experienced firsthand that we win as a country when our innovators and entrepreneurs can soar and when every single person can grow and thrive. To unlock the best of America, we need a leader who's clearly focused on three things: economy, energy, and national security. And that is why today I'm officially announcing I'm running for the President of the United States of America. Thank you. That was so sweet, Mary. Thank you. Godmother to our kids, I should point that out. Anyway, the economy needs to be the absolute top priority. Every small business owner and every family in our country is feeling the corrosive hidden tax on their lives driven by the Biden-induced inflation. Inflation is the worst. It hurts those the most who can afford it the least. But innovation, that's always been the driver of America. Innovation over regulation. Innovation over regulation. We say it every day in North Dakota. Innovation over regulation is how you solve the challenges we face today. Regulation looks backwards. Innovation looks towards the future. The Biden administration is obsessed with creating mountains of federal red tape. These regulations raise costs for every American consumer. They hamper our ability to compete in the world marketplace. They siphon time and investment away from innovative solutions. And the way we retain our nation's position, which is so important in everything we do, our position as the world's largest, most dynamic, and most powerful economy, is through innovation. For well over a century, American innovation, from telecommunications to electric light to flight itself, and the power of American agriculture, think of it, feeding the entire world. America has led the way. Yeah. Yet when I was in high school, we were told two things were absolutely certain about our future. The world was going to run out of food, and the world was going to run out of energy. However, today we live in a world of abundance because of American innovation. Innovation has paved the way for a better life for all Americans. And the potential and the possibility, the coming breakthroughs in software and biotech, energy and healthcare can continue this trend. But due to over-regulation, that brighter future for Americans is now at risk. Let's get back to common sense. Let's eliminate red tape, get inflation under control, cut taxes, reduce the cost of living, and help every American realize their fullest potential. It takes energy to get things done in America. Clean, reliable, low-cost energy brings manufacturing back to the U.S. and reduces our supply chain risks. U.S. energy policy cannot be separated from either our economy or from our national security. Energy policy directly underpins both. And we need to stop buying energy from our enemies and start selling energy to our friends and allies. America produces energy cleaner and safer than anywhere else in the world. If you care about the global environment, you should be fighting to have every drop of energy produced in the United States. And when we're truly energy independent and we're supporting our allies, that's when we stabilize the globe and restore America as a leader of the free world. Putin only dared to invade Ukraine because our allies in Western Europe were all dependent on Russian energy. We need to recognize the real threats to America and strengthen our national security. Growing up in a small town, you learn quickly the enemy isn't each other. Our enemies aren't our neighbors down the street. Our enemies are countries that want to see our way of life destroyed. In a country built on neighbors helping neighbors, we become a country of neighbors fighting neighbors. We should all be fighting to unite the country against our common enemies like China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and the drug cartels. And we all know Joe Biden isn't getting the job done and too often is making things worse. Gas prices are too high, and the Biden administration enacts policies that make us more dependent on foreign oil. That makes no sense. American families are struggling under the weight of record inflation, and the response from Democrats? Increase the size of the IRS to target Americans. That makes no sense. An out-of-control border that is ignored by the White House while killer drugs like fentanyl infiltrate our communities, and 110,000 individual tragedies occur through overdoses. Think of that. 110,000 families in 2022 lost a son, a daughter, a mother, a father, a sister, or a brother, and we're doing nothing about the border. That makes no sense. And we're facing a very real threat from China. And Joe Biden's Green New Deal policies, they're only going to shift our dependence from OPEC to Sinopec. That makes no sense. We could go on for hours, but we don't need to. Where we come from, when something isn't working, you stop and you try something new. That's common sense. Joe Biden has got to go. If you want to ensure that Joe Biden is a one-term president, I hope you're going to join our campaign by visiting DougBurgum.com. And if you believe that the economy, energy, and national security are critical to our nation's future, remember, that's why I'm running for president. And if you want more small-town common sense in Washington and our big cities, we'll make that happen. And if you think that we need a governor and business leader who understands this changing economy, I want to earn your vote. Because this campaign, this election, is all about what it takes to bring out the best of America and improve every American life. After my dad died, I saw firsthand what it means to be the best of America when the people of Arthur, North Dakota lifted up our family. When we built Great Plains Software with team members from small towns across the nation, just like Arthur, it showed the best of America. The best of America exists, It exists in the smallest towns and in the biggest cities. The best of America is there, on our farms, on our factory floors, and in tiny startups with big dreams. Every day, students see the best of America when they're inspired by their teachers. We see it in our brave military, our dedicated police, and our selfless first responders. It's there through the sleepless nights of new mothers and fathers loving their newborns, and also in the loving caregivers who are taking care of those that are in the twilight of their life. When we take the time to look, we can see that we are surrounded by the best of America. Working together, we will unlock the best of America in all of us. Please join us on this mission. With your support, we will improve every American life. Thank you. God bless you. God bless America.